We continue. Is there only one there? How many are there? Okay. Whatever you like to offer. So we like to offer only one, huh, Prabhu? So no, whatever you like to offer, no pressure. You don't have to offer three if you like to offer only two. No, I'm okay, thank you. So we read about from Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, before we go into studying Srimad Bhagvatam. Undoubtedly, a mood has to be set up for if one wants. Actually, real advancement in Krishna consciousness is an advancement of mood. And Srila Rupa Goswami is helping us here understand how to develop a mood, what should be the mood of a practitioner. So we continue characteristics of pure devotional service. In this way, there is a chain of sinful activities and their concomitant distresses, and the conditioned soul is suffering life after life due to these sins. This is in continuation what we read last time. Huh? He is suffering in the present life the results of sinful activities from his past life, and he is meanwhile creating further sufferings for his future life. Mature sinful activities are exhibited if one is suffering from some chronic disease, if one is suffering from some legal implication, if one is born in a low and degraded family, or if one is uneducated or very ugly. There are many results of past sinful activities for which we are suffering at the present moment, and we may be suffering in the future due to our present sinful activities. But all of these reactions to sinful deeds can immediately be stopped if we take to Krishna consciousness. As evidence for this, Rupa Goswami quotes from Srimad Bhagvatam, 11th canto, 14th chapter, verse 19. This verse is in connection with Lord Krishna's instruction to Uddhava, where he says, "My dear Uddhava, devotional service unto me is just like a blazing fire which can burn into ashes unlimited fuel supplied to it. The purport is that as the blazing fire can burn any amount of fuel to ashes, so devotional service to the Lord in Krishna consciousness can burn up all the fuel of how to pronounce fuel? Fuel. Fuel can burn up all the fuel of sinful activities. I told you England is not my first language. For example, in the Gita, Arjuna thought that fighting was a sinful activity, but Krishna engaged him on the battlefield under his order, and so the fighting became devotional service. Therefore, Arjuna was not subjected to any sinful reaction. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki, Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitagore Premanandi. So we'll continue studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Just want to check. So which text is it, Kartika? Has it got a purport? Hmm. 54, which has got a purport. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narotamam देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी यदाश्रयपरावृतो गृहमेधियकर्मसु वयस्यैर्बालकेस्तत्र सोपहूतकृतशने Please chant. यदाश्चर्यपरावृतो गृहमेदीयकर्मसु वयस्यैर्बालकेस्तत्र सोपहूतकृतशने यदाचार्यपरावृतो गृहमेदीयकर्मसु वयस्यैर्बालकेस्तत्र सोपहूतकृतशने यदाचार्यपरावृतो गृहमेदीयकर्मसु वयस्यैर्बालकेस्तत्र सोपहूतकृतशने यदा when Acharya the teachers Paravrita became engaged Grihamedya of household life Karmashu in duties Vayase by his friends of the same age Balake boys Tatra there Sa he Prahlad Maharaj Apahuta called Kriteshane obtaining an opportune moment. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki. When the teachers went home to attend to their household affairs, the students of the same age as Prahlad Maharaj would call him to take the opportunity of leisure hours for play. Purport. In tiffin hours, the hours when the teachers were absent from the classroom, the students called Prahlad Maharaj, wanting to play with him. As will be seen from the following verses, however, Prahlad Maharaj was not very much interested in playing. Instead, he wanted to utilize every moment for advancing in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, as indicated in this verse by the word Kriteshane, at the opportune moment when it was possible to preach about Krishna consciousness, Prahlad Maharaj used the time as follows. वैराग्य विद्या निज भक्ति योगा शिक्षार्थमेक पुरुष पुराना श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीरधारी कृपाम्बुदीर्यतमहं प्रपद्ये मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारणम् वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining us in this study of Srimad Bhagavatam. Pray that studying Srimad Bhagavatam, I become the first listener of the message of Mahaprabhu. I become the first listener of the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. One day, by the blessings of Sri Guru, by the blessings of Vaishnavas, I can live the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. Pray that I never become a teacher in Krishna consciousness, and never become a teacher in Srimad Bhagavatam. Pray that I one day become and always remain ever a student of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the Krishna consciousness practice is about building a mood, building an attitude in our approach towards practicing Krishna consciousness. External, internal, everything is involved, but essentially it is the mood. With what mood we come in, and with what mood do we exhibit, what mood we are living in. In society, there is so much of clash. uh, and there's so much of clash within different countries of this world, right? Amongst different countries of this world, there's lots of clash. Between continents, there is clash, Europe, Asia, America, and all. Now, within Europe, there is some clash. Within Europe, there is a country, United Kingdom. Now, within the UK, there is thing, okay, England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. So there is some sort of, perhaps subtle, but there is some sort of subtle uh, clash. Again, clash may sound a bit of strong word, but there is some sort of um, subtle, say, disharmony. And now between amongst these four countries, now look, within England, say, there is some disharmony. There is some within England itself. There is some disharmony within England between north and south. There is some sort of good. There's some sort of good loving relationships, sort of something, between south and north. Sometimes it is heard that south doesn't even know that north of England as such exists, or what is going on in there, something like that. Now, within north and south, if we see in south of England itself, there's like some tussle, London and some places and all. It is so much so that people living in one street, within the street there will be some disharmony, some tussle. Then one house, pick any house of the street, there will be some disharmony, some tussle. Within that house, quite a few family members are living, some disharmony, some tussle. Or even if a single person living, there is going to be some disharmony and some tussle. Only a single person lives in the house, but some disharmony and some tussle, meaning that the individual, his mind, his intelligence, his ideology, his desires, his thought, every faculty of his existence and functioning is not in one line. And when every faculty of our existence is not in one line, there is bound to be disharmony. And there is bound to be disharmony. So Krishna tells to Arjuna, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshashami ma sucha. It's not like abandon all varieties of religion, meaning the source of our relationship is with Krishna. And there is an eternal bond, direct eternal bond with Krishna. So anything that is coming as a block in the fulfillment of that bond, in the fulfillment of that relationship, give it up. And align all together, mind, the dictations of the mind, the dictations of the ego, the dictations of the intelligence. Every faculty should be aligned in one direction only, towards loving and serving Krishna. which we see here Prahlad Maharaj is doing. This is the, believe it or not, this is the first reported case of child abuse. Even not reported, Prahlad did not report actually, no one report. But this is the first historical recorded case of child abuse. We witnessed little bit of child abuse previously. We'll witness further more child abuse happening, or domestic violence. This is domestic violence, right? His own father is being very violent towards him. Krishna consciousness journey is what? It is a journey of humiliation to humility. It is exactly a proper journey of humiliation to humility. Now, in here, because Prahlad was truly humble throughout, to begin with, in the middle, at the end, he never experienced humiliation. He never experienced any sort of humiliation. And his father, Hiranyakashipu, because he was not humble to begin with, in the middle, and the end, and now having come across a pure devotee of Krishna, Hiranyakashipu is experiencing nothing but throughout humiliation. It is not that he does not have the um, external pomp, the kingdom, the money, the army, the power, everything. Everything is there, but yet he is experiencing such a humiliation. He is experiencing a huge defeat at the hand of his 5-year-old boy. Because Prahlad was very fixed up in his identity. You know, there are stages in advancement. Naturally, there are stages in advancement in our Krishna consciousness. Uh, Half of this is no stats, by the way. This is more of my speculation, but kindly allow me. Now I'm sitting on the Vyasasana, so kindly continue listening. Sir. So half of our problems will get rid of. Half of our problems when we actually understand we are not this body, we are spirit soul. See, just hearing this message in itself is quite therapeutic, right? If we give this feed education to ourselves, I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. Oh, I don't have to really unnecessary. I have taken so much of burden in myself. I need to deal with the problems, but the outcome I need not worry about it. Whatever happens, I'm not this body. It is not directly me. I'm somehow okay as a vehicle. Okay, something came and and I had to deal with it and I tolerate whatever the outcome. So when I come with this understanding, when I understand I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul, half of my problems get solved when I live in this consciousness that everything is temporary. Half of my problems will get solved. Once there was a king. Our Dan actually was sharing this story a few days ago, in it. Once there was a king, and it was his happy birthday, the king's happy birthday. So the king wanted to give a gesture to his subjects. He arranged some feast, he arranged some program for everyone, he arranged some gifts and all, and he wanted to, in the daytime, to go out and give an address and to meet, like 3 p.m. He wanted to maybe come on BBC Live and give a talk for 5-10 minutes and also spend some time with the citizens. So king went different places. He went to hospitals, schools, and he went to prison as well. He went to prison, and he went into the prison. Then something really shocking happened in the prison. What? He went to the prison, and everyone knew from before that the king is going to come in the prison the visit. So they had arranged everything fine, sort of, for the king to arrive and have his visit. And the inmates, some of them, not all of them, they had made some gifts, something to give to the king. And one of the inmates, he gave a ring to the king. He made a ring. He gave a ring to the king, and in which he inscribed imprinted, he wrote a message and gave it to the king. Now, the king, when he took the ring, it was not any luxurious ring, it was not any valuable ring by, say, material standards, not of gold or silver. Hmm. But when he took the king a ring, when the king took the ring and he read the message, he was very pleased. He was so pleased that what did he do? He released that inmate from prison. He said, he said, mate, your term is done. Something he said, okay, your term is over. You don't need to be anymore in the prison. You have served your term. What is the very reason for going into a prison? Is for reformation. You have been reformed. Huh? So you don't need to be living here. He then and there he released the. He told the prison warden, okay, release this person. Not only that much, what did he do? He wanted the king did some inquiry. Where does he live? Family and all. What job have you got? Okay, naturally you don't have a job as you are getting to pre-release. So he as you can say. What were you saying?
The same.
What were you saying?
Secret.
This too shall pass. Hmm. So the king was very pleased hearing this. What a valuable teaching, what a valuable lesson I'm learning here. That I might be thinking, okay, I am the king, but this too shall pass. How long? And we see, na, what, even in nowadays, what do we experience? Two things only in life. What? The kings are present, but the kingdom is gone. Kingdom is no more there. The kings are there. Many different countries we see, okay, he's the king. But when we look at him, he doesn't like, okay, all the glamour, all the pomp, the kingdom, what comes along with the package is no more there as such. And what? The kingdom is there. The palace is there. Money, jewelry, buried under the ground. Everything is there. But the king is gone. King is no more. Everything in this world is temporary. So, if everything is temporary, why to worry? This too shall pass. Be it good, be it bad. Everything is relative, and this will pass. Hmm? So, the king learned this message and he was so pleased. Wow. On my birthday, on my happy birthday, you have given me this message. So, he freed the inmate. And this Prahlad Maharaj, he's the living embodiment of it. My father is doing so much of atrocities on me. Okay, this is temporary. This is to pass. He's trying to hit the body, but I'm not this body. I'm a spirit soul. But this much of ammunition or this much of fuel, fuel, this much of ammunition is not good enough for us to really keep on advancing. That I'm not this body. I'm a spirit soul. No. See, this is a negative motivation as such. Is it not? You are not this body. If someone tells me you are not this body, does there come a question along with it? Could an inquiry be made, further inquiry be made? Yes, I understand. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for letting me know I'm not this body. But now kindly tell me which body am I? If not this body, then which body am I? Huh. Like someone wanting to go from, say, from Glasgow to York, and he takes a wrong train, and the train is going from Glasgow to London. He takes that train, say. So the ticket checker says, okay, sir, you have taken the wrong train. This train is going from Glasgow to London, not Glasgow to York. Oh, Relief, good to know. But should not the next inquiry be the instant inquiry be, okay, if this train is not going from Glasgow to London, then which is the train which is going from Glasgow to York? If I am not this body, then which body am I? So this has to come as a natural inquiry. Prahlad Maharaj was not just satisfied with this much understanding that I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. This helped him that when he was being attacked, okay, he protected himself. But we cannot live on life like this, just protecting ourselves with I'm not this body, I'm not this mind. So 50% of our problem solved when we understand we are not this body. Say 75% solved when I understand I'm not the mind as well. Oh, I'm not this mind. Chanting Hare Krishna, doing mantra meditation, I realize I'm not this mind. I'm now, the mind is in better control. The mind has become a good friend of mine. Huh? And I'm living a more holistic life. I'm living a more balanced, happy life. And I realize I'm not this mind. Hmm. So that like puts us, okay, 75% sorted. Like in order to keep myself happy, if I have to let go of my finger or my leg, if NHS comes and tells, okay, we'll give you a surgery, I ring NHS and they say, so yes, quickly, next day we can arrange a surgery for you. Beds are there, everything is there, no waiting time. Say, in order to keep myself happy, if they want to amputate me, get rid of my leg, I will happily allow, right? I will happily allow, yes, chop my leg, cut my leg to keep myself happy, to keep myself protected. Further on, if someone says, okay, you're having some mental problem, say, I'm not able to sleep well, hmm, I'm getting too much unwanted thoughts and all. So do this and all. Yes, I'll do this to calm my mind, to pacify my mind, to keep myself happy. I will allow to what, to even go to London and to attend what, a motivational speaker, a talk. I will allow to pay 500 pound for an hour, huh, to get some boost. So in order to keep my mental well-being, I allow to listen, I allow for a therapy. In order to keep again myself happy, say I'm allowing for my leg to be amputated, to get rid of the leg. Now, who so much so, people commit suicide. Have we ever noticed someone committing suicide unwillingly? Everyone commits suicide willingly only. That I'm fed up of life, don't want to live anymore. I give up my body. I willingly want to give up my life. I willingly want to give up my body. So, natural inquiry, who is this I? Who is the person? Whom do I want to? Who is suffering? Who do I want to really make happy? So much so that I'm happy to let go of my leg. So much so I'm happy to let go of anything which is holding from in my mind, attachments and all. Let go just to keep the soul proper happy. So Prahlad Maharaj, he knew this. I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul, I'm not the mind. Then furthermore, actually he was fixed up in his identity, who am I? So we need to, this practice of Krishna consciousness, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this has to let us know that what is our spiritual identity. Only then we can function in society very nicely, when I understand who am I and whose am I. Uh, and just knowing, oh yes, I am Krishna's, I belong to Krishna, that is great. That's a great advancement. I mean, even knowing this, that I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul, is a big leap. It's a big leap. 8.5 billion world population, human population, plus minus. How many of them realize we are not this body, we are soul, spirit soul? Live realizing how many of them, even conceptually or theoretically, know this or understand this, heard of it. Very few, I would say. Realize is a big thing. Live by it is another big thing. Hmm? I'm not this mind. Uh, Now I'm a soul proper. I belong to Krishna. Belong to Krishna in what capacity, in what relationship? That inquiry, and now that building that mode, that bhav. And in that mood, in that bhav, we serve. We serve Radha and Krishna in that mood, in that bhav. Then that is like advancing in Krishna consciousness. And time is a very important factor, tremendously important factor. So many messages we see in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, "Na, we have sold ourselves to what? To material nature." And material nature itself saying that I am under the control of Krishna. Maya dakshina prakriti suyate se characharam. Material nature says that, okay, Krishna is the real boss. I am not the real boss. We have sold ourselves to our karmic entanglement. But karma itself saying that, okay, Krishna is the real boss. I am not the real boss. Uh, and time, mrityu sarva haraschaham. The time factor also saying that actually Krishna is the real boss. I am not the real boss. So we take shelter of Krishna. And Prahlad Maharaj, he was such gentle, such intelligent. He knew how to deal with his teachers, he knew how to deal with his father, and he knew how to deal with his fellow students. Hmm? Whenever there was leisure time, he was not wasting his time in politics or in sports and such things. No, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do any activity or any exercise. Whatever we do, it is to facilitate our Krishna consciousness. That should be the simple motive. Again and again we say we should have only one prayojan. Prayojan meaning purpose, aim, goal, which is what? Prem prayojan. Prem should be my only prayojan in life. Prem meaning Krishna prem, love for Krishna. That should be my only prayojan in life. Okay, on this note, we'll take a pause. If there are any questions, comments, or any clarifications.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the class. I was wondering, you mentioned that we come to the realization that we understand we are not the mind, right? And then sometimes I feel like just some like very like random thoughts come in. And so how to kind of deal with the mind, sort of like that, just keep it sort of like separated, just kind of like not influence or yourself, and kind of like keep it just like away. It's still gonna be there, but just keep it, isolated, and yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Nice question. I mean, it's a tremendous realization for someone to have if one can realize that I'm not this mind. Huh? Theoretic, the different things, This is again a question for myself to contemplate. What is the difference between information, knowledge, and wisdom? I'm not this body. I'm not this mind. I'm a spirit soul. Is this am I at the level of information, or am I at the level of knowledge, or am I at the level of wisdom with this? Yeah. So even though theoretically, if I understand I'm not this mind, I'm a spirit soul, I'm a pure devotee of Krishna, I'm a spiritual being, I have a particular relationship with Krishna, and furthermore, yet because of our previous impressions in life, from previous lives and from this life as well, naturally we get many thoughts coming in. How do we tackle? So Srila Ambarish Maharaj teaches us, Savai Mana Krishna Padar Vindayo. Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanuvarnane. Karo Harer Mandir Marjana Drishu Srutim Chakara Sut Katha Udaya. That through all our faculties, Savai Mana, the mind has to be engaged, and the senses. It is not never going to happen. What? The mind is engaged, but the senses are not. The senses have to be engaged. Uh, Without engaging the senses, the mind is not engaged. Savai Mane Krishna Padar Vindayor Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanu Varnane. So first engagement of the mind is to listening the pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna. That should be the first engagement. To listen. Listen and listen and listen. More and more. And in our growing stages, actually, in Krishna consciousness, we should be listening lots and lots throughout. Hmm? And when we listen, then only we will be able to chant, we will be able to develop a mood, we will be able to understand. And naturally, a point should come in our life when any thoughts also come, such so many asat, temporary. Hmm? We cut them off altogether from the roots. There's a very beautiful verse, very heart touching, and in Srimad Bhagvatam 11:26-26, Canto 11, chapter 26, text 26 in Srimad Bhagvatam. A wonderful message. Tato dusangam utsirjya satsu sajjita buddhiman. Santa evasya chindanti mano vyasangam uktivi. I hope this answers your question, and I hope this is pertinent to your question. Tato du sangam utsirja. Tato meaning therefore. Canto 11, chapter 26, text 26. Srimad Bhagavatam. Tato du sangam utsirja. Tato meaning therefore. Du sangam. Du sangam meaning temporary, asat, sangha. Bad association. Bad meaning whichever pulls me away from Krishna, whichever does not harness, does not lead me to understanding my true potential, true identity. Tato du sangam utsirja. Take it off altogether. Utsirja. Uh, Satsu sajjeta buddhiman. The scriptures, they want us to become intelligent. How do we become intelligent? By taking association of a wise person. That is the only way. We don't necessarily become intelligent just by chanting, even just by reading or hearing. When we take the association of a personal person, uh, then we find an inspiration in that association. That is how we become intelligent. Look, the key is one only. And for Prahlad Maharaj, what is the source of his power? The source of his power is his complete shelter. He's taking complete shelter at the divine transcendental lotus feet of his spiritual master Narad Muni. Guru Mukha Padmavakya Chitete Koriyakya. Arna Koriyo Mone Asa. He heard from the lotus mouth of his spiritual master Narad Muni, and he's firmly settled. Na? So for us as well, for our mind having so many thoughts come about, we have to cut them off altogether. How do we cut them off? By associating with a transcendental personality, by hearing from a transcendental personality. When we hear from someone, we are not just hearing as in the mundane sound vibration. We try to tap into their vision. We try to tap into their mood. We pray to understand the mood and the vision of that personality. We see physically the personality may be living in any part of the world, say, but through his consciousness, where is his consciousness? Uh, the depth of my Krishna consciousness, Shri Guru tells this, it is fascinating what Guru Maharaj helps us understand. What the depth of my this, and this is a personal check. Everyone can check himself or himself how much in depth of Krishna consciousness am I. The depth of my Krishna consciousness depends on the quality of thoughts I bring in. Some thoughts come beyond my control. I'm sleeping, but I'm getting some thoughts. Daytime also, some unwanted thoughts come, God knows from where. huh? So may not have much control. But when I am in somewhat awakened state, and how I am thinking, when a girl passes by, when a woman passes by, when a car passes by, something happening. So the quality of my Krishna consciousness, the depth of my Krishna consciousness can be measured by the thoughts I bring in, the thoughts I live in, the thoughts I entertain, the thoughts I keep, and the thoughts I build. So this is why Tato Du Sangam Utsirja Satsu Sajjita Buddhiman. Scriptures want us to become intelligent. Santa Evasya Chindanti. है ना? Shanta Evasya Chindan. Certainly, a saintly person will certainly cut off Chindanti. Mano Vyasangam Uktibi. Whatever mano, na, whatever in the mind, Vyasangam, distress, unwanted things, uh, Vyasan, all these unwanted attachments that I'm holding on to, he will cut it off. How? Uktibi, Mano Vyasangam Uktibi, through his powerful speech. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna spoke to Arjuna, cut off his unnecessary attachment completely. We get some thoughts in the mind coming. Imagine the thoughts Arjuna was having in his mind in the middle of that battlefield. But because what? Guru Mukha Padmavakya Chitte Te Koriyakya. Before fighting the war, Arjuna did listening, thorough listening. This is why we do japa. The morning time is very sacred, very, very sacred. And we try to give this time to ourselves, building a community and giving a time to ourselves. Evening, night time is very sacred. We should give to ourselves, not much to Facebook, TikTok, or like that. So, Arjuna, he listened to Krishna before fighting the war. Prahlad Maharaj being put in this situation, prior to this, he had listened to Srila Narada Muni. Dhruva Maharaj, firstly, he was upset and all. He encountered Srila Narad Muni. He listened. He got the blessings of Narad Muni. He performed. Imagine the austerities Dhruva Maharaj performed. We cannot even fathom. We cannot even do that for 1 hour, what Dhruva Maharaj did for 6 months. Where does he get this power from? So, tato dusangam utsija satsu sajjita buddhiman. Santa evasya chindanti mano vyasangam uktivi. A saintly person, he has that complete capacity. You know, Mahaprabhu is lost in a way. Na? He's completely lost in Radha Bhav. Nityanand Prabhu also lost, but they are freely distributing. Uh, the Karuna Shakti of Mahaprabhu lies in the heart of Shri Guru. And Shri Guru has that key, spiritual master, he has the key to open up that Krishna consciousness, to give us that Krishna prem, to cut off completely all these excessive attachments we are having. Unnecessary, excessive. Many places we find this excessive attachment. Perhaps in this as well, word meaning or translation, it may say excessive attachment. Krishna understands, okay, some sense of reasonable attachment with the body, with that much he understands. But we don't know where is the fine line between reasonable and excessive. We don't know. And actually, if we see, there is a very thick line between reasonable and excessive, tremendously thick line. So when we take shelter at the lotus feet of some transcendental personality, when we hear from him, then the thoughts of our mind will change, our vision will change. The sooner a sadhaka understands the prayojan, the purpose, the destination, the reason why am I practicing Krishna consciousness? Why do I exist? Someone commits suicide, he also has this question. Why do I exist? Commit suicide. Yeah? That this why is not sorted. But once the why is sorted, the purpose is sorted, that prem prayojan, prem is my only purpose, to serve the love of the divine couple. This should be my only purpose, to serve Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. This should be my only purpose. Then, when I am driven by this purpose, now my body, my mind will carry previous impressions. But because of having taken shelter, all those impressions will get purified, diverted, hmm, can cross over, go beyond those impressions. Otherwise, not. The mind has a natural reflex, the body has a natural reflex. Someone trying to poke me towards the eye, it's a natural reflex of the eye to protect the body, to protect. When I see a car approaching at a fast pace, natural reflex for the body to protect. Mind also has a natural thought comes up. Hmm. But through regular good practice and good association, We have to address the situation of the soul. It is not first. Society works completely different. Society first says solve this temporary problem of the body, problem of the mind, problem of the intelligence. Prabhupada went to MIT, na? Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Hmm. So Prabhupada went there and he was being shown this is the physics department, this is this department, all this department. So Prabhupada asked, okay, you're showing me these departments which work for the welfare of the body, mind, intelligence. Where is that department for the soul? So first that has to be addressed. And when we address soul, the hankering of the soul, then the mind, intelligence, ego, everything will settle down the senses. So again and again we say what? Human life is meant into inquiring into God, into the existence of God. Hmm? That is human life. Human life begins when we practice spirituality, when we practice religion, when we make this inquiry. That is an awakened life. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. When one is doing an inquiry into the spirit, into the existence of the Supreme. But where does a devotee life begin from? A devotee life doesn't begin from inquiring onto the Supreme. A devotee life begins actually when one searches, when one makes an inquiry into the pure devotee of the Lord. Where can I find a pure devotee of the Lord? Where can I take that association? Devotee life begins when one takes a association, when one allows oneself to be trained to take shelter at the divine transcendental lotus feet of a pure devotee of the Lord. And when one listens, then serves. Real serving is through listening. Attentively listens, serves. Then complete transformation will happen. And we don't know how much love we have got for the divine couple in our heart, in our mind, in our intelligent soul, proper throughout. It is only when we come across such a transcendental personality, then by their causeless mercy, we can be blessed. So Nityanand Trodashi we celebrated yesterday again, right? Mahaprabhu, Nityanand Prabhu, they are freely distributing. Uh, and they have given this their free distribution to their agencies, right? Who is the agency? Shri Guru is the agency. Say. So Shri Guru, spiritual master, has the key. I need to rise up. I need to prepare myself. And then all what is awaiting me is pure Krishna Prem. Does this somewhat answer your question, bro? Any other thoughts or anything to say? Yes, bro.
Yeah, you said that we realise we are not the mind. Of course, it's maybe a bit easier to realise you're not the body and that you have some sort of eternal feature, a soul, consciousness. But then when we think we are not the mind, how is it that we get our mind around that, our intelligence around that? Because we seem to exist in this space in our head. So how do we remove our reality from that of our mind? How do we define what we are if we are not the mind?
Good question. Again, we say, what is the difference between information, knowledge, and wisdom? Huh? Even to realize this, that I am not this body, I am a spirit soul, is a huge realization. Or to realize I am not this body. The way I live can demonstrate, okay, how much in bodily identification one lives. So to say is one thing, na, that I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. To say is one thing. And even though if I've not realized it, still I should say. Still I should say. In Krishna consciousness, we are allowed to say what? I love you, Krishna. Even though I do not love, but I'm allowed to say, and I should be saying. Of course, that doesn't mean, of course, when I say we should be saying, it is to for myself only, to help myself grow in Krishna consciousness, not to in the community or in the outer world, everyone to as a boasting sense. Okay, yes, I love Krishna. Say so. To how do we understand that we are not this mind? When we mantra meditation, when we do japa, uh, when we chant with wholesomeness, uh, who is doing the chanting? The mind is not doing the chanting. The senses are not doing the chanting. The hands and all, no. Who is doing that chanting? The soul proper is doing that chanting. The soul proper is hankering for the association of Krishna. The soul proper is wanting that association. So when we elevate our consciousness, we live through our consciousness. Whatever we do it according to our consciousness, as per our consciousness allows us to. And consciousness is what? It is the energy of the soul proper. Is the consciousness is the property of the soul proper, not the mind. Consciousness is not the property of the mind. Yes, bro.
So are you defining the mind like the ego?
Mind, intelligence, and ego, they are different branches of the soul proper which help us function in the society. Different categories of the soul proper, say, which help us function and live in this society, say. But ultimately, to begin with, or ultimately, we are soul proper. And now, through practice of Krishna consciousness, it is not that a spiritual person or a spiritual body does not have a mind, does not have an intelligence, does not have an ego, but that is the completely spiritual mind, completely spiritual identity, completely spiritual intelligence. Huh? Completely pure Krishna conscious mind, pure Krishna conscious identity, pure Krishna conscious intelligence. So mind still remains, the ego will still remain, the intelligence will still remain. It has now become completely transcendentalized. That so who is that? We never say I the mind. What do we say? My mind. My mind is giving me trouble. I need to look after my mind. Not I look after mind, or in that sense. So there is a difference between I, the soul proper, and the mind. And mind is the junction. Mind is the junction between us and the spiritual world, definitely. Because we associate so much with the mind. Mind is the linking point, the connecting point. Throughout scriptures, Vedas, wherever it is, mind is addressed. Because the soul is sold to the mind heavily. And then when we practice a spiritual practice, we come out of bodily identity. Then we come out of the dictations of the mind. We gain more supremacy. And then we can realize actually our real identity, who we are. Just to say a very small example, the soul is the king proper. The soul is the king, is the master. Now, the soul, who is next to the king? The prime minister, say, or the advisor. Intelligence is the next. Then the different ministers, mind, say, and the subjects. These are the senses. But first, we need to realize that I am the king proper. How do we realize? When we situate our mind in a state wherein neither we are too attached nor we are too detached. When the mind is calm, when the mind is peaceful, when the mind is in equilibrium, then it can take on more. And then the mind is purified completely, that the mind becomes completely transcendental. The intelligence becomes completely, and the soul still exists. The I still exists, and now this soul is really living like the king, taking shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. Does this somewhat answer your question, Prabhu?
Yes, that was very eloquent. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your blessings, time, and participation and encouragement. And pray that by the blessings of the Vaishnavas, that our only motive should be to please Guru Gaurang and Vaishnavas, not to look good, not to sound good, not to sound any posh or anything of that sort. Somehow or other, if we can develop genuine humility. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराण की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी, हरि हरि बोल.